Hello, this lesson is about volume. So we're going to call the title of this lesson volume, V-O-L-U-M-E, volume. The definition for volume is a measure of how much space a figure takes up. A measure of how much space a figure takes up. And we're going to be using cubic units for all of the things that we find the volume of. So for example, maybe the volume is in cubic inches, maybe it is in cubic feet, cubic centimeters, but it's a three-dimensional object that you're going to find the volume of, which makes sense why it would be in cubic inches, feet, meters, miles, centimeters. Okay, so here are some formulas, and these are all formulas that you're going to need, and if there were a test or a quiz, I would give you these formulas. For a cylinder, if you want to find the volume of a cylinder, you're doing pi times r squared times h. Okay, so r is the radius, and h is the height of the figure. Okay, for a cone, the volume is equal to 1/3 times pi times r squared times h. So compare those two formulas for a cylinder versus a cone. Think about what a cylinder is. A cylinder is a can, like a can of soda or a can of vegetables from the supermarket. A cone, you guys know what a cone is. A cone kind of looks like that. It's not a very good cone, but you get the idea. They both have a circle base. See how the top and the bottom of a cylinder is a circle? See how the bottom of a cone is a circle? That's where the pi r squared comes from. That's the area of a circle. And then the other components are the height, which is how tall it is. And a cone is a little bit different. It has this factor of 1/3 at the front. So if you were measuring the volume of two figures or two shapes, two three-dimensional figures, a cylinder and a cone, the cone, you could take the cylinder and divide it by 3. That's the same thing as multiplying by 1/3. So if you had the same type of base, let's say you had a cylinder with a radius of 3 and a cone with a radius of 3, and both of them had a height of 5. The cylinder had a height of 5, the cone had a height of 5. You could calculate the volume of the cylinder, and to get the volume of the cone, you could just take that measurement you got and divide it by 3, and that would give you the measurement of the cone. Okay, to find the volume of a pyramid, this is the formula. Volume is 1/3 times capital B times H. Capital B is the area of the base. Let me write that down. So 1/3 times the area of the base, and then multiply that by the height of the pyramid. So if you have a pyramid with a rectangle base, you would have to find the area of a rectangle for this component. If it was a triangle, you'd have to find the area of a triangle for the capital B. And the last volume formula that we're going to use is for sphere. Volume is 4/3 times pi. That's a 3 down here. 4/3 times pi times r cubed. So the difference this time is now you've got a radius that's cubed. In these other two over here, the radius was squared. So here's some additional notes. This is when a cone and a cylinder A cone and a cylinder have congruent bases and equal heights, then the volume of exactly 3 cones, this word is exactly, volume of exactly 3 cones will fit into the cylinder. And there's an example down here that we're going to do right now. This says, find the volume of a cylinder with a radius of 7 inches and a height of 3 inches. So let's go back up to the volume of a cylinder formula. It's right here, pi r squared times h. Volume equals pi r squared times h. Okay, r stands for the radius, that's 7. The height is 3, so you're going to substitute those numbers. So you've got volume equals pi times 7 squared, and the height is 3 times 3. I would encourage you to get a calculator and do this with me. The first thing that I would do is type in 7, and then there's a button that says x squared on it that will square the 7 for you. So I would type 7, and then the button that says x squared. Then I'd type in times 3, enter, and you get 147. And we did not type pi in the calculator because I want to leave our answers in terms of pi. So we did 7 squared times 3, we got 147, and then you're going to write pi at the end of your answer, and we're in cubic inches. Okay, if you did not do it this way, if you actually typed in pi, you'd get a slightly different answer. You would get 461.81 as your answer. Let me write that down. 461.81 cubic inches. That is also a correct answer. But I would like for you to leave your answer in terms of pi if the directions don't say to give a rounded answer. Okay, so letter B says, find the volume of a cone with a radius of 7 and a height of 3. You'll notice that you've got the same information. Before we were finding the volume of a cylinder, now we're finding the volume of a cone. And one of the things that was mentioned earlier is you can take the volume of the cylinder and just divide it by 3, and that gives you the volume of the cone. So this, we can just take the answer we just got, 147 pi. Since 3 cones will fit into 1 cylinder of the same dimensions, we can just divide this by 3. 147 divided by 3, you can use a calculator for this, is 49. So our answer is 49 pi cubic inches. If you missed something, take just a second and rewind the video and watch it again if you missed anything important, if you didn't catch what was going on. Okay, here's the next page. There we go. Example number 2 says, find the volume of a sphere that has a diameter of 3/4 inches. We are given a diameter this time. Let's write down our formula. I'm going to stop the video now and then record the other half in just a second.